that are consistently recruiting are the ones that are excited. And you know what's funny? When you've struggled, it's probably been when you weren't as excited because you had some stuff going on. You had some junk in the trunk. you had some stinking thinking going on. Tell people why. Why are you excited? 2 different reasons why. Because people relate to people. They don't relate to ingredients. They don't relate to the compensation plan. They relate to you and your reason why. So tell people why you're doing it. I wanted to fire my boss. I wanted to retire my spouse. Why are you telling people your reason why? Because other people want to retire their spouse. Other people want to help out their parents financially or put their kids in the best private school. Other people want to wake up when they're done sleeping and not have to go to work every day to work for someone else to build up their company, right? Other people are just like you. You're a person. Other people are just like you. They can relate to you and your story. And then you want to say, why this company? Why these products? In fact, drop into the comments and let me know, why are you in network marketing? I don't care about your company per se. I want to talk about your reason. Why are you doing this business? Why are you doing something so challenging? Why are you doing something like this? What's the reason that you want to make more money? Pay off your student loans, pay off your mortgage, pay off your credit card debt. You want to buy a new car, buy your dream car, buy a dream home, get out of the ghetto. I don't know. What is the reason you're doing this? Your why has to be a driver for you. And you have to also say, you know what? It's not just about my personal reason why. It has to become bigger than that. You know, how about helping other people? Maybe you want freedom. You want total and complete time and financial freedom. That's a big deal. And then why your company? I think some of us need to develop new habits. We need to up our prospecting numbers. We need to talk to more humans. How many Facebook friends do you have? How many people are you connected with? What's the percentage of people you've talked to? And I talk about this all the time because honestly, it's probably the biggest reason people are struggling in network marketing. They're just not talking to enough people. Talking to new people every day doesn't necessarily mean I'm talking to a person that I've never talked to. It might just be that I'm talking to someone about my business for the first time that I've never talked to about my business, right? You might say, well, John, you know, these are all my Facebook friends. I talk to them often. Yeah, but have you talked to them about your business? Well, no, I mean, they haven't asked me. Well, have you asked them to take a look? I mean, it's funny to me how we overthink this so much. Like, what do I say to people? Hey, Karen, how are you? It's been a few months. What have you been up to? What are you focused on these days? You have a little back and forth with Karen and you ask Karen, hey, have you thought about making money outside of what you do? Have you ever looked into making money online or on social media? You just pop the freaking question. Now, that doesn't have to be your exact question. I could give you 17 different questions you could ask. There is no exact script that works for everybody. How many of you have big, audacious goals? Like you want to make the big bucks. You don't want to just make a check with a comma, right? You're not just looking to make $1,000 or $2,000. You want to make multiple 6 figures. Like you want to make at least a full-time income in network marketing. Then you have to start new teams all the time. But I don't want you to get so caught up in management mode where you're just managing your team and you're managing your managers. And phase 1 money-making activities is you personally producing, you personally recruiting, you personally prospecting, you working on those money-making activities and not relying on your team to produce, not relying on your team to recruit new people for you to work with. Now, there's nothing better than your team recruiting. There's nothing better than someone within your organization bringing new people to the table. Obviously, if you want to win big in network marketing, it's all about helping other people. It's all about helping other people create results and create success. However, I never rely on my team and I want to lead by example. I want to show them the value in starting new teams. Some of them.
Well, what is going on, Impact family? Drop a 1 in the chat box if y'all can see and hear me right now before we get started. Let me go ahead and unshare my screen before we jump into today's call. Got a couple people in the holding chat. My bad. I should have saw you guys a couple minutes ago, but definitely wanted to make sure we got started. I'm really excited to go over some of the things that we're going to talk about here today. I'm feeling like just so blessed. We just got back from our employer income tour. We still have a couple more cities and things that's going on. But myself, Jason, Calvin, a few of the other leaders, we've been to Brent. I know it's at pretty much every event. There's been a lot of us that have been on the road, just spreading the knowledge about what it is that we have, really taking this information up a notch as far as exposing people to what it is that we have going on and really creating this culture that we're building literally from the ground up. Currently, right now, there's about I think still flirting around just about 14,000 people active total in Auvoria Prime right now, which is exciting because we're just so new and we are really have the upper hand and the edge as far as what's about to happen in this industry over the next 1, 2, 3 into 10, 15, 20 years. So I couldn't feel any more blessed. Shout out to Xavier that was down there in Houston. Shout out to the people that were out in Philly. Shout out to those that were in Pittsburgh. People are all over the place right now, but I wanted to make sure that we have our Monday call to just go over a few things to be able to help us all take this, take where it is that we're at up a complete notch. We want to take this thing up a whole entire new level. We have some new leaders that are part of the organization now that are just coming in with a lot of excitement and a lot of credibility in their own fields and their own crafts. And this thing is really about to grow. So it's exciting. And I feel blessed to be working with each and every one of you. Now, before we jump into the details of our call, you guys know pretty much how we start every call that we do here, a part of this organization. And it starts with a moment of intentional gratitude. Guys, it's so easy for us to get caught up in the excitement of building a business that's, going crazy right now and trading and making money and family and all this other stuff, that it can be easy to quickly kind of feel like all these things are entitled to us, as opposed to operating in a state in a mindset of gratitude and appreciation for the things that we have, for the things that we have access to, for the things that we're going to be able to have in the future very soon. But oftentimes that we go and jump right into our day, dealing with problems, even jump into the call, jump into all the things that we have going on without ever acknowledging or without ever having that moment to say, you know what, let me find some things that I'm grateful for in my day right now. Because I promise you, the more things that you can find a reason to be grateful for is the more opportunities for growth that you're going to be able to have inside your life from every aspect. It goes bigger than just trading and making money through the compensation plan and these other ways that we are able to really be beneficial to these resources. So if I saw somebody put in the chat, shout out to Vladdy V, who asked about the trap hoodies that say take risk and profit, and some of the other gratitude on 100 gear that we have out and available now. If you go to startswithimpact.com, you can go see or look at any items it is that you want. We have a plethora of things, from masks to laptop covers to just all different types of stuff, a part of the Impact community. And that'll be our continual home base as we go forward and building this legacy and this dynasty business. So I want to go over a couple of things product related before we jump into anything mindset and building. One, for those who are using, we have some big time major swingbacks for Gearbox in this last probably week or 2 weeks. I know a lot of people were in some trades for I think it was the CAD pairs and a couple of the USD pairs as well. We've had some big time reversals in the market. It's been exciting to watch and see a lot of people's accounts swing into big time profit. And this, I'm sorry, my bad. I keep forgetting about the people in the waiting room. I want to take that off. But we've had just some major people, major swings in the market over this last week, 2 weeks, as people have been able to really get out of some of the minor DD that we were in. A note too about NEO as well. I think NEO was the first week, last week was the first week that my account had taken any losses on NEO. I think that was pretty much the standard for everybody. And I think that it was a good thing, because it sets a tone and a principle of how the actual item and the tool that we're utilizing, how it actually works. So for anybody who's utilizing NEO as opposed to Gearbox, they trade completely differently. Now people hit me up in my DM all the time, like, which one's better, NEO or Gearbox? And it's, he said, first week in 3 months losing money. Exactly. And for my account personally, I think we lost 4.5% on Tuesday, I think it was last week. And then outside of that, everything has been kosher. So for those who don't understand how NEO trades, NEO is not a swing trader. NEO is not looking to be in trades for a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, a month, anything like that. NEO is a intraday trader. It trades pretty much maybe like 3 to 4 days out of the week, but you're not going to be in any long trades of potential drawdown or waiting for a move to be able to happen. It's going to get you in or out every single day. So meaning that that every day is not going to be a winning day, just like there's never going to be anybody who has a strategy that's 100% profitable every single day in the markets. And if you have that strategy, please call me and let me know. So we don't want to ever set the expectation that every day is going to be a winning day or that every week is going to be a winning week, because that's not realistic when it comes to trading in any way outside of this. So we want to make sure that we keep the expectations set with people, so that way then if NEO has a losing day like we did on Tuesday, people wouldn't be confused as what's going on. Hey, it's a part of the process. As you look at your account over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're going to be over that loss and back into profit. So it's not something that happens every day, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that communication is there with you and your customer base. Same thing when you have a conversation with somebody using Gearbox. So Gearbox doesn't take a trade every day. You could set your Gearbox account up today and it might not take a trade until Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what happens in the market. So you want to make sure that when you're explaining this and you're breaking this down, especially our expert advisors, that when you're explaining this and you're breaking this down to people, that you're setting those expectations to say, hey, listen, if you're using Gearbox, it may take a few days for you to get in trades and you're going to have to be a little bit more patient, but you're going to see some big time swings in the market. Or you have the conversation about Neo, about how or what to actually expect. And the more that you are honest and upfront with people about what it is to expect when they get started with us, the less you'll have to deal with on the back end of people being confused or frustrated by not just simply understanding how our products operate. Now, Arrow, shout out to all the Arrow users in the chat. I know everybody has been absolutely crushing it with Arrow. I've been seeing different people posting all in and out of the group. It's exciting, and I can't wait until we really get to see the power of the Arrow EA. And we have a binary coming out for Arrow as well too. For anybody who doesn't know, I think myself, Calvin, Ashley, somebody else too is in the official beta test groups for the Arrow binary trading that's coming out very, very soon as well. So we have a lot more coming to the package with Arrow inside of our back office too. The videos, the Forex education videos that were originally done by Daisy Duncan are all being redone by Nate as well right now. Not to drop too much sauce, but I've seen some numbers in the binary group that if I told you guys like how much money people were making, y'all might like listen, y'all might go call Nate, blow Nate up right now. So it's very, very powerful what's happening and what it is that we're creating inside of this environment. We got to remember and keep in mind that Nathan has only been a part of the Auvoria Prime community for 6 or 7 months. So it takes time to implement all of these things so that way it flows in a way to where we're ready and prepared for massive growth, which we now are. Shout out to Arrow, the dashboard version. I haven't heard anybody complaining about some of the basic VPS things that we were dealing with months ago when we first launched it. So it's very, very exciting to know where it is that we are as a company, where it is that we are with these different programs, as everything is now coming together at the exact time. And for you as a leader, for anybody here who's growing a business, the best and the fastest way to grow your business is to build your business at a minimum of a silver pass. Why? Because one, whether two people have Arrow, 2 people have Neo, or 1 person has both, it all counts for the same thing inside of your own group. So if you set the narrative, and again, people follow what it is that you do, not what it is that you say. So I know that some of you may have a bronze pass active in your personal account, but when you're recruiting or when you're talking to people about this, you're trying to get them to close in on a deal that you don't actually have yourself. There's always going to be a level of disconnect there. And unless you want to build your business slower, it makes only the sense in the world. Even if you're strictly focused on one of our software, meaning one of our expert advisors, and you're like, hey, listen, you know what? I don't want to trade Forex at all. I don't want to be interested at all. You got to realize that a lot of people, one, don't have the capital to be able to leverage our software to the highest degree. So it makes much more sense for that person to be able to plug in and actually learn how to utilize Arrow so they can create some income for themselves that they can then put into the software. And then if you're using Arrow already and not using one of the EAs, it doesn't make any sense that way either. Because even if you make $1 billion with Arrow, when you're going to withdraw your profits and put them where? In the bank? No, you put them into the software so that way they can continue to work while you're trading these other pairs as well. So it's a dual-edged sword either way that makes it easier for you to be able to talk to somebody about this. And what do I mean? When I talk to somebody, the conversation is a simple active income with Arrow, passive income with one of our other software, Gearbox, Neo, Variable, whatever it is that you use or you're fond of. And then if you're smart, build residual income with it. Some of you are going like, okay, well, you should use Arrow, and then if you're smart, go Silver and go Neo, or you use Neo or Gearbox, and if you're smart, go Arrow. No, that is that initial decision. I'm approaching it like that's what somebody's doing every single time. And again, some people are like, hey, listen, you know what? I only want to do one, or I want to do bronze. That's totally fine. But everybody will do bronze only if you pitch it as just a bronze only opportunity. If you have that higher level conversation, they're bringing in somebody on a silver pass so that way they can really max. You got to remember that there was a point in time where the software cost $267 to start and $190 a month, and you were only getting one software, and that was before Arrow existed. So it's like, and people had no problem signing. I feel like half of y'all on the call signed up back then when those were the prices. So it's like, you got to think that because of the only difference is your own psychology going into that sale of saying, okay, I want to give this person the lowest possible option, as opposed to really putting them in the best position by leveraging 2 of our software as opposed to 1. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knows this, that quickest and easiest way to double your business and to duplicate and to get more momentum is to have everybody buying silvers across the board, and not just buying it to buy it, but buying it to actually utilize and leverage it so that way you can really see how powerful our products are. And the more that you as the leader are plugged in and doing so, the more that it's going to be easy. It's going to be easier for your customers to be able to do the same thing following you. So now, does anybody know what this coming Saturday is? Does anybody know? This Saturday, the 24th? Brent said it exactly. Momentum, momentum, momentum. Drop a 1 in the chat if you have your momentum tickets already. Stu said event. Drop a 1 in the chat if you already have your momentum tickets. All right. So for anybody who doesn't already, you want to take a moment right now. I'll put the link in the chat. It is just avoriaprime.com/momentum. You want to make sure that you go get your tickets for the momentum event this Saturday right here, right now, especially because this conversation that we're having here, there shouldn't be anybody on this call that's not interested in building a business intentionally inside here in this blessing that we have with Auvoria Prime. And if that's your intention, that's what you want, there's no better way. There's nothing that I can say. There's nothing anybody can do. There's nothing that will create the level of action out of you like being present for an event. And once you learn and you understand that, the quickest thing you realize is that, okay, well, every time I've ever left an event, I've always wished that I have more people inside my organization at said event. So regardless how many people are on this call, regardless how many people are in your group, if you spend the next 5 days really edifying this event that we have on Saturday, this is a virtual conference where the company is spending a ton of money to really set up this environment to where people can hear the vision about what it is that we have going on. Remember that Chris Simonian, who worked with Herbalife and Beachbody and all these big time billion-dollar companies, just took the realm of AP in January, meaning that it hasn't even been long enough for this man to really get into stride about how it is we're going to build this brand. So what you're going to see Saturday is another example of what it is that we've created, and so much coming out that day. There's so much information that you don't know about right now about this company that you're going to learn about on Saturday. I just highly advise that you not take it serious, that you make it a priority. There's one thing to say, okay, well, I have my ticket, I'll probably pop in for an hour or two. Like the difference between somebody who watches the call for an hour or two or somebody who doesn't even have their ticket right now, and the difference between somebody who's gonna be a 6 or 7 figure earner by the end of 2021 is how serious you take this and how much and how well you ride this momentum that's being created inside of this environment. So if you do not have your tickets already, I'd rather you get your ticket and hop off this call right now. There's nothing else I can tell you. You want to make sure that you're at this event on Saturday to be able to hear what, and if you're smart, any of the leaders, he said we got the time. Yeah, the times are out. I think it's 11 to 4, 11 to 5. I got to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that it's like 5 hours. So it's like 11 to 4, something like that, Eastern. So I know you're out there in UK. Shout out to everybody internationally too as well. That's why we're doing these virtual events, is to make sure that we can cater to all of our groups around the world, because AP is obviously an international company. So this coming Saturday, we have our momentum event. The tickets, I believe, are $69. If I were you, I would not only have my ticket, I would call everybody. And again, this is not just for people who want to rank up. There's going to be customer-driven activity and information on this call as well. Nathan is going to be releasing some great information about our vision and what it is that we have going on with Arrow. We actually have our licensed financial advisor, Mr. Stephen Vetterall. Again, Stephen Vetterall is playing with money at the highest of highest levels. So he actually has an entire segment on our call on Saturday as well. That's much outside of kind of the normalness that we hear from him on Saturdays and Tuesdays. So he has an entire segment as well. So you want to call your customers. He says Stephen P is the ultimate G. Exactly. And again, he's playing in the financial space at the highest level. So I personally love hearing from him. I've been really instructed as well from corporate to push the narrative for our customers as well, not just people who are affiliates and who are leaders in the company, to have everybody who's plugged into this community there as well. If I were you, I would have a little house party on Saturday, have 5 or 6, 7 people come over the house, get some food, hang out, and be able to watch it and take notes in community with everybody else. But I hate to harp on something, but we are literally 1 week away from this event, and however many people you have at this event is going to directly reflect how much momentum is in your group coming out of it. Coming out of the event, we already have events in Texas. I think we have 2 events in Texas. Shout out to the people, those in Houston, those in Dallas. We have another event in Atlanta. We have our first event in Nashville. We'll have another one in Philly and in Pittsburgh. This is all in the first month coming out of the event. So the energy that's going to be in and through the company, you want to be a part of that. You want to make building this business easier for you. And how do you do that? Is you put people around where they're going to be able to make a decision. There's a couple things I want you to write down about events in general, but you want to make sure, like the thing that people don't understand is events tell a story better than you can tell it. So if people coming to the virtual event, they're going to hear about Auvoria Prime better than anything it is that you can tell them by them simply being present and hearing what goes on that call. Events build belief. Nobody will ever work for something that they don't actually believe in. So you putting people on that call, and again, it takes effort to reach out to people, make phone calls, get commitments, set up the whatever little house party you're going to do on Saturday. That's a part of the work of this industry. But doing that is going to put you so far ahead, especially when you're a part of a company that's a baby. We're only a year and 2 months old, going into I think our third or fourth ever company virtual conference, which is a huge deal. So taking advantage of these opportunities now before this massive wave of momentum happens is so beneficial. And number 3 is events elevate vision and eliminate negative thoughts, meaning that when you're there and you're locked into this production that Auvoria Prime is going to put out, your vision about what's possible for you inside of this company is going to elevate, and all of the negative thoughts or negative doubts or things that people have said about your business or whatever will literally be eliminated because you're now inside of this environment. So I just want to make sure that is clear and so important that everybody has their tickets. All right. Now, following that, we're going to have our first live corporate company event in July. That's going to be the last week. I'm just giving you guys a game plan on how this year is going to play out and what is it that we really see is going to happen. So our first real in-person, people are going to be getting medals, jackets, rings, all of that kind of stuff. That event is going to be the last weekend of July. I think it's like the 30th or the 31st, something like that. That's going to be an absolute movie. Like that event is going to, because it's the very first time we've ever done anything in person as far as Auvoria Prime that's not virtual. Hopefully we'll see what the conditions of the world are by then, but that is what I'm hearing, and that's what it is that we have locked in. The details are going to be released at this coming up event on Saturday. All right, so that ain't even the training. That's just updates, information. Jesus, like went on for a little while there, but I'm excited to kind of talk about some of the things that we want to talk about today, because at the end of the day, I want everybody here to 10x your business. Like how focused I am on the daily activities for us to be able to grow is kind of sickening right now because of how important this time is. We're in a time and a space that we may never ever be in again. It's not going to be long before, like, nobody, it's kind of like Ripple. Like at some point in time, you're never going to be able to get Ripple again for under $1. Like you're never going to be in AP again under 50,000 customers. Like that time is coming. So dominating and taking advantage of the available market share that's out there right now, meaning that there are hundreds of thousands of people who may have interest in Forex, but have no idea about what Auvoria Prime is. And they're waiting for somebody like you to reach out to them, or see that ad that you haven't posted yet, or go start that event that you haven't done in your city yet, whatever. They're waiting for that to get involved. So I'm putting all of my energy on doing as much of that as possible, because we will never get a time like we're in right now ever again. There are people a part of AP right now who are outside of the impact community who have their own hundred thousands of followers that they're going to be bringing into AP as well. So why would we not take advantage of what is in our face right here, right now? And if you are look at the leaders that are part of this company, we have, I think, maybe 7 or 8 six-figure earners or something like that. 5 of them inside of the impact community, 6 of them inside the impact community, something like that. And with that, you have to know that all these people who are at these high levels right now, before we have even really stepped into the fullness of who our company is going to be, you got to realize that those people have desire. Like something, and again, if we can name them if you want, but you know them already, including myself, that these individuals have a burning desire. And oftentimes people think that that desire is for Forex or for building a business. It's not. I can speak for myself. It's absolutely not. I don't have a desire for Forex trading or building a business. I have a desire for what those things provide for me and my family, and what I'm able to now leverage and utilize because of these resources. Because if I would have had a desire for Forex, I would have had to known about it years and years and years ago. Yes, I love trading. Yes, I love the intimacy of building a business and what that provides. But the reason why it all started is for what these things can provide, the time freedom that these things can provide on the back end. So I want people to realize is that, like, my favorite thing about trading in this business is that it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. You could have just graduated from Penn State, or you could have just got out of the state pen, and regardless, you can make 6, 7, 8 figures trading and building a business. And like that is just the rawest of rawest truths. When I know for myself, coming from the community that I'm from, like those resources aren't available. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes, like, because of things that I've done in my past, I'm outside of what's like a six-figure in corporate America isn't a reality for some people. So it's like, I want individuals to realize and know that in this space, you can be who you are and get to where it is that you want to get in your life by leveraging this resource. But if you don't work it, there's nothing that's going to work in it for you. Like I think Calvin said this at the Pittsburgh event, is like sometimes people are waiting for things to work out, but they don't ever actually work out. And it's like when you know where it is that you want and you have a resource in front of you, you not taking action on that isn't somebody else's fault or somebody else's responsibility. It's all on your plate. Why? Because your bills, your problems, all of those things have your name on it. So without you taking responsibility as for these things that are happening around you, like you'll get in what's called Napoleon Hill calls it drifting. Drifting is kind of like when you let life dictate, like something happens and you're reactive to everything that's going on, as opposed to dictating and controlling what's happening inside of your life. So I think that is very, very key. So how does a person level up? What are some of the things I want to talk about today? Some of the things you need to master in order for you to be proficient in this space. What's this space? This space of networking is key, and it can change your life forever. And the skills and the people that you will meet in this industry go beyond whatever, like go beyond anything that Auvoria Prime can offer you. The skills of you becoming who it is that you need to become for you to make six figures in this industry go beyond a check that Auvoria Prime can pay you, because those skills, those abilities to communicate, those abilities to be a leader, those things stick with you forever. I promise you that people are seeing some of the rewards and the fruits of labor that I put in here in Auvoria Prime for myself. But in reality, a lot of the work went in before Auvoria Prime had ever even existed. But because I already had these skills, it was a perfect timing opportunity for us to be a part of this, which is why it's so exciting for the new people. Most companies in this space, 500,000, 800,000, a million plus customers in all different types of product and service industries. So to think that we're sitting at under 20K and that we have products that actually work for people. Does anybody have a product here at Auvoria Prime that actually works for them? Put a 2 in the chat if you've made profit using any product here for Auvoria Prime. Anybody at all? 2's all over the place. So it's like, if we know that to be true, it's really just about when do people say, you know what, I'm going all in with this. You know what, I'm going to really put my foot on the gas with this. You know what, I'm not going to make this my side thing anymore. Like that's the thing. Like if your business is your side thing, you're only going to get side checks. Like you're not going to get full-time real, you're not going to get what you really want. And it's like that, like, and again, if you only want to be a visionary 1200 and to use that money to leverage in your software and things like that, that's 100% okay. You're literally entitled to want what it is that you personally desire. But for those that are looking, is anybody here trying to be the first millionaire in their family? And like for anybody who I don't need a 2 in the chat, but if that's you and you know that you want to be the first millionaire in the family, I asked this in a room the other day and almost every hand went up, and it blew my mind, because you know what that means? That means that most people in that room don't have millionaires in their family. So it's like, how are we taking advice, or all the advice that we've taken in our life are from people who don't actually have what it is that we want? Then we actually have an opportunity to create that, and we're using principles of somebody else or of a lifestyle or from our families that aren't actually going to like help us in this environment get us our first $1 million. Because what? Because those habits that we've learned, that we've been able to accumulate through our life, didn't come from millionaires. They came from our family, they came from our jobs, they came from our schools. So it's like, if our habit, we don't have millionaire habits and how it is that we're operating and what it is that we want, how can we expect millionaire results? But the thing is that because you don't have a ton of millionaires around you, you'll think that the actions that you're taking are the actions that are going to put you where you want to be. But in reality, you're just kind of in that comfort zone around people who really won't necessarily call you out because they don't even know themselves, which is why you have to change your environment, which is why you have to get exposed to more than what it is that you are currently have access to. One of the things, and I'm going to switch up even how this training was supposed to go, but you definitely want to write this down. You absolutely want to write this down. Exposure leads to expansion. Exposure leads to expansion. What does that mean? That means that, have you ever had a balloon before that you like a little balloon that you're supposed to blow up, and you go and you blow that balloon up, it never goes back to the original shape that it was in before you blew it up. Meaning that like your brain won't calculate the same, won't look at life the same once it has a new experience. Experience and exposure lead to expansion. What does that mean though, Dante? The first time that the only time that I've ever driven a Tesla, I've never forgot about how that car felt while I was driving it. I'm like, this car ain't got no engine. I'm like, what? I'm having like a mind blown, like my brain couldn't really like conceptualize what was actually happening, and my mind was blown. I remember the first time when I was in Vegas when I met Stu, and I walked into this mansion, and the kitchen was bigger than the apartment that I was living in at the time. And it's like but like that blew my mind. It changed my perspective on what was even possible, and it now made me hungry for something that I was never hungry before because I had never seen it. I had never wanted a sauna in my house before until my boy Gervado had one down at his house in DC when I saw that 6 or 7 years ago. Until I had that exposure to that thing, I never had a hunger to want anything more out of what is it that I was already doing. So what's my point or my suggestion or my request to you is that you intentionally get around things that are going to force your vision and your belief to expand. Go to the $1 million homes when they're doing an open house. Go to the Bentley dealership. They're not going to let you test drive a Bentley, but they'll let you sit in the Bentley. Go to those places. Go and have an experience outside of what you're already dealing with. And sometimes people are like, oh, you know what, Donta, I don't want to go and test drive my dream car because I'm not going to have the money to buy it. By you not even being willing to go test drive it, you're already telling yourself you're never going to have it. Like already, if it's uncomfortable for you to even go do something that's completely free, where nobody can hurt you at all, where you're gonna go have an experience that only you're gonna remember, like think about how wild that is to be scared to go take that simple action. Like this week, in the next 7 days before we have this momentum event, go create an experience for yourself that doesn't cost you any money, that will allow you to see life a little. Go drive, even if you just want to drive through the rich neighborhoods or whatever, like go create an experience for yourself. And I promise you, it will kick you in the behind to go and do the work it is that you need to be doing to get where it is that you say you want to go. But I can't I remember the first time I saw somebody who showed me they had $3.5 million in the bank. I saw that with my own eyes. I was like, that's a 3 point. I'm looking at that like, what he had to use different codes to even get into his bank account to show me how much he had in there. And this is a guy who made that from network marketing. I'm like, bro, and I hate to talk about money, but at the end of the day, like money is what catches people's attention. Like before, like when we're edifying people or things like that, when somebody mentions how much money somebody makes, everybody's eyes go, oh, he made that or they made this, because everybody is so attention and so eye focused on money. So I don't want to talk about it, but if we want to keep it all the way 100, how are you going to be able to help the people in your family who need help without money? How are you going to be able to donate or give to the charities it is that are passionate or important to you? I'm not talking about things that are important to me. I got whole plans that I want to do with things once the resources that I know are already coming actually get here. Whole plans. But if you think that you're going to be able to accomplish all these things, all these ways to be able to help people, these programs that you want to start, all the goodness that's on the inside of your heart, all the things that you should want to go out and create, all these ideas and these visions that you actually have, you need money. Period. There's no other way around it. So if we can be honest about that, and again, only in this weird world do we live in do people make you feel uncomfortable about wanting to create more money. It's not the money, it's the reason why you're creating the money and are you actually doing it. If you're not doing anything wrong for anybody and you're creating money for your family for a good reason, there's nothing anybody can say. The only people who say things like, oh, all rich people, blah, 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 are people who don't have it. The only people who want, oh, you should give all your money back to the government because you earned it yourself, are the people who don't have it. So let's be honest about that and identify the fact that, hey, listen, I'm not going to be able to get my life mission done unless I go ahead and walk in my true purpose and leverage the resources that are here right in front of my face. So what can I do to be able to level up in this business? What are some of the things that I can master? We talk often about the 3 main skills of network marketing, but I want to talk a little bit more today about something I feel like is vitally important, which is knowing how to tell your story. You need to be a master at telling your story. And I'm not saying that this is something that takes 20 minutes to where you're going through a full autobiography of every problem that ever happened to you or every situation that ever went wrong in your life. No, but telling your story is something that happens very, very quick. I'm talking about under 90 seconds of you being able to get a simple point across about where it is that you've been. Here are the 4 keys about telling your story. 1, telling your story is important because it makes you relatable to the person. Sometimes we feel like telling somebody, hey, I have a software that makes me 5% a month is going to do it for somebody to actually be able to join. When in reality, you guys know the quote, facts tell, stories sell. So it's like, if you don't know how to tell your story and what it is that you're a part of, it will be tough for you to actually build a business. And like, I've heard some of the leader stories on this call so many times that I can recite Paul's story. I can recite Stu's story. I can recite some Calvin's story. I can recite all of them because I've heard it so many times. So you need to know, if you haven't shared your story a bunch of times yet, you have a lot of growth to be able to do, which is good. So here are the 4 things of how to actually tell your own personal story. And this is something that you keep in under 90 seconds. 1 is, where have you been, or where are you coming from? So like, what is your background that is a part of this picture? So for me, before I was a part of Warrior Prime, or you want to go before you were a part of this project, what were you doing? So for me, that was working in restaurants, whether that be general manager, whether that be server, whether that be cook, whether that be, I've worked in restaurants, all different positions for the high majority of my life prior to me getting involved seriously in network marketing. So that's my intro as well. Yeah, bro, I used to work at restaurants. Like when I'm talking to somebody, I'm telling my story, it starts right there with where it is that I've been. Why? Because when I tell somebody that I worked at restaurants and going over my experience a little bit, either they have worked at a restaurant before in their life, or they know somebody who's worked at a restaurant there in their life. So now it goes from this person trying to sell me something to now I can actually relate to what this person is talking about. Or, okay, I actually know somebody who works at a restaurant, and that clicks in their brain, and it takes down that, like, okay, well, this person trying to sell me something, actually down to a normal human being conversation. So your first thing is, where have you been? Your second thing is, what did you not like? There's no point in telling somebody where you've been and this idea or this game plan that you have for them if you don't have a reason as far as why what you were doing wasn't working for you. So when I'm talking about the restaurant industry, I say, hey, listen, I worked in restaurants for the majority of my life. I spent a lot of my time on the floor as a server. Man, one of the things I used to hate is literally having to talk to people and kind of having to kiss up to them in order to be able to get tips, meaning that I didn't know what I was coming home with every single day I went to work, because it depended on who actually came into work that day. And I hated that inconsistent money. Like, that's a very common, relatable thing to have to not be making consistent money at work, and to make that the reason as far as why I didn't like what it is that I was doing. And for you, whatever that reason is, you could be working at a furniture store and say, you know what, my back is hurting, or you could be working 15 hours a week doing whatever it is you just want to use. And again, the best part about your story is that it's yours. And the reason why it's so powerful is because it's true. So if you can always give somebody something that's real because it's you, and it's true because it's honest, that will break down some of the human barriers that are keeping people from joining you guys' business. I promise you. Now, what happens after that? You tell them, what did you find? Okay, so 1 is, where are you from? What happened prior? 2 is, why you didn't like it. 3 is, what did you find? So, I had a guy named Alfie reach out to me on Instagram and tell me about this Forex trading software business. I didn't really know anything about it, but I got started. I've been making a little bit of money every week. I've only been in a couple of weeks, but I'm excited. And then just sharing people that solution of whatever it is that you found, even if you've only been in the business 1 week and you've only put in trades on demo, it doesn't matter. Whatever your story is, because it's true, it holds weight. The truth is so powerful because there's so many people that are trying to manipulate and lie to people out here in this space. So if you can be truthful with an individual, people can feel that. Like when you're talking to some, the reason why I have great relationships with a lot of people is not because I'm a special human being, but being honest and being truthful with people, when you're talking to them, builds a bond that goes beyond some of the content it is that you're actually saying, just because they can feel that genuineness and they actually like you. If you think you're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars in this space without people liking you, you have the wrong space unless you want to do everything from a trading perspective. And I'll be honest with you, if you don't have big money, it's going to be hard to make big money trading. Like, that's just the truth. Trading with a $10,000 account is a completely different thing than putting $500 to $1,500 in an account. So it's like, I want you to have the discretionary income to put 10K in an account and be able to trade confidently, so that way you can really make some money with that without even having to worry if I blow it, I'm back broke. Which is why most people don't win in trading, because you put in your lunch money or your rent money or the $200 extra you have from your check inside of your account. Then you go ahead, you have that pressure of, this is my last, so I have to make something happen with this money right here. And then you go and blow that account, and now trading is a scam to you because of that. When in reality, if you would have just had some more money, if you would have had some discretionary income, your mindset of how your trading even would happen would be completely different, because you know, I got $2,000 coming in every single month on residual income outside of what I got in my job. Your mindset towards your investing changes completely. So it's like, it's really an urge and an awakening that if you build your business, it actually makes your investing a lot easier. Again, I tell you all the time, people come to myself, come to Stu all the time. Hey, how'd you guys make 6 figures plus in a single day trading? Like that didn't happen because I had two grand in an account and I got lucky. No, there was already 60, 70, 80 grand that was inside of said account. And that doesn't come without having access to business relationships and things like that. So it's very important for everybody to know and realize that even you as a trader gets better when you have more access to income because you decided to build your business. So telling your story is key. That was number 3. Is what did you find? And number 4 is what's your vision? What's it doing for you? So it's like, so you tell somebody where you've been. I've been in the restaurant industry. What did I not like about it? The hours and how the inconsistent pay. What did I find? I found a trading software business that allowed me to be able to grow a business online that's infinitely scalable while I'm actually leveling up and growing as an investor as well. And number 4 is what's your vision? Yeah, I'm excited because now I'm going to expose this business to a ton of people and create a residual income for myself that I've never had access to through any other vehicle that I've ever heard of in my entire life. And I'm fired up about it. And you just being excited, and again, I know I've read through that really, really quickly, but you can go through that process of creating your story on your own. And then from there, every conversation you have, after you have that written down, like that's like for this week, what I want you to do is to 3 things. 1, make sure you got your momentum tickets. I don't even want to talk to you if you don't have your momentum tickets. If you don't have that ticket, and if you were smart, you would not be coming alone to this event or watching it alone in your house as well. That is number 1. Number 2, is making sure that you go this week before the event and go create an experience for yourself. Go drive around that neighborhood with those huge houses. Go see what kind of cars they driving. Go, and if you really about it, go and test drive one of your dream cars. Go sit in it. Go to the lot. Don't be scared. Because what? Because when you have the money, you ain't gonna be scared. So you need to act like you have the money now. The quickest way to get to where you want to go is to already have it now. You got to understand that the dominating thoughts of your life will reproduce themselves in physical reality for you, meaning that you have to have it already produced in your mind. Nothing can reproduce that wasn't already produced. So you need to produce whatever it is that you want inside of your actual mind, inside of your brain, prior to it becoming a reality. This laptop, this phone, this water, this all of these things that are in my room right now were a thought prior to them actually becoming physical. What does that mean? That means that if the iPhone was a thought before it was in the physical, then $10K a month for you has to be a thought before it becomes physical. So the quicker that you can get these thoughts to be the dominating thought of your mind, the quicker that you can get this thing from being something you're doing on the side to something you're doing every day, because you understand how, but like once you get to the finish line, nothing else matters. Like once you get to a 6-figure income, all the work, all the people who left, all the people who told you no, none of that matters anymore once you crack the finish line. But once you understand what it is that you're going after, it makes building this business so much easier, right? So now the last thing I really wanted to go in on today and talk about was improving our self-image, okay? So the skills of networking are super, super key. But your self-image is also very, very important. And I learned this from Bob Proctor. I can't wait to meet Bob one day. But he talks about this all the time. He talks about how you see yourself is how the world is going to see you. Write that down. How you see you is how the world sees you. So when you wake up and you look at yourself and you don't like what you see and you don't feel confident when you're walking out of your room before you start your day, then that means that your prospects, your team, your family, the people that are in your life, when they see you, they see whatever it is that you feel. Whatever it is, however you see you is what they see. So what does that mean? What is that like? How does that impact anybody? That means that you got to start seeing yourself like a multimillionaire. Absolutely. You have to. How? Why? Why would I need to see myself like that? Because people only follow people who know where it is that they're going. Like I was already, you would have thought that I already made 6 figures when I first met Michael by how our conversations were going and how I was talking to him, because it was never a question whether or not it was going to happen to me. It was already done. So I operated and acted like what it is that I knew to be a 6-figure earner at the time. I wish I had more access to somebody who had $1 billion. And the more that I learn from that person, I will go ahead and mimic and start to take some of the things that I see from somebody who has what it is that I want. But if you, and again, Stu's saying buy Don USD, I want to buy you USD. Like that's the thing, is that like, and it's so crazy because that's taking me directly and smooth into my next point. If I tell you right now, I'm going to be a billionaire right now, I feel like the high majority of people in this call would actually believe me. Like if I said, you know what, like if it's set in stone, I'm locked in, I'm going to become a billionaire. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm not attached to when any of my goals are going to happen. I'm only attached that they happen. So if I say that, though, the high majority of people will believe that. If Grant Cardone jumped on the call and he said, you know what, I'm gonna make $20 billion next year, we'll probably believe him, even though we don't know if he has any of the resources or anything to be able to make that happen. But we believe that he's gonna do it because he believes he's gonna do it. And that's the same way that you want people referring and reflecting to you in every aspect of your life, but absolutely when it comes to your business. What do I mean? That means that when somebody talks to me, whether or not they know anything about AP, they know damn well that Donta is going to be a millionaire. Absolutely. Because of how I'm talking to them, how much belief that I show that I had and what it is that we have access to right here, right now. And if people can't feel that from you, if people don't get on fire by coming around you, that means you're not hot enough. You're not hot enough. If somebody doesn't come around you and feel the energy about what it is that you have going on, I can't tell you the last person that I've met in the last year who has, I don't think I've met anybody who I've had a full conversation with that without me even saying, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you about my business, without me ever even saying that, they want to know about what it is that I have going on because of the energy and how I carry myself. It's not just about prospecting and trying to recruit them all. It's more so about, I'm so excited and confident about where it is that we're going. I'm moving and acting like it's already done, which causes people to say, bro, this kid is moving and acting like a millionaire. Why am I, what is it? What do you have? What's going on? I want to know detail. Like that happens to me all the time. But I love that Stu said that because it makes so much sense, because I don't want anybody to just believe that I can do it. I want you to believe that you can do it, so that way other people will to feed off of that belief. And what does belief do? Belief raises your awareness. Belief raises what it is that you think is possible, which will actually kick you into action. And what are the action steps it is that we need to be doing to grow our business? It's all about exposure right now. What does that mean? That means that nobody knows about Auvoria Prime, like just right now. Nobody, the high majority of people on planet Earth have no idea about what it is that we have. And you exposing 500 people to what it is that we have puts an extra $10,000 a month in your pocket. That is crazy to me. That is eye-opening and crazy to me, knowing that we have a resource that solves a problem for people. What's the problem? The problem is we put our money in the bank and the banks aren't doing anything with it. And if we keep it in there, we're losing money every year in inflation. And we have a solution for a problem that's affecting the high majority of people that are working on, that are alive right now. Adults, the high majority, all dealing with the same problem. Even today, right now, 60, 70% of people don't have their money working for them at all in any way, shape, or form. Just going to work, going around Monopoly, collecting their money, playing go. So it's like, to think that you have access to change that person's life, that you have information that will give that person a real shot at wealth, whether they want to go actually build a business or not, just from an investing point of view, is powerful. And understanding that and taking it as an obligation to go share that message, not just something that I'm kind of doing on the side, is what's going to create the results it is that you really want. We have people that are a part of AP, that are a part of the impact community. You're going to see big time rank flyers going around in our groups very, very soon, or people that you probably never heard about, but they realize how important this is, how this is going to really help a ton of people, and they take responsibility and say, you know what, Donta, what can I do to be able to level my business up? So the game plan, the mindset, the information, the goal right now is all about mass exposure. However it is that you prospect and expose people to the business is to your choice. Some are all on Instagram and IG stories and Facebook and social media or whatever. Some are like micro, to where they got a list of 1,000 people that they know that they're going to reach out to specifically one by. However your strategy works out, it doesn't matter, because the method of getting the job done is not as important as the commitment to get the job done. You don't go and try to look up flights for somewhere that you haven't actually decided to go to yet. What I want you to do is decide that you're going to a six-figure earner today. You make that decision. How you get there will figure itself out. Like if you know, right now, we just brought up the July event in Orlando, the 30th and the 31st. You don't need to know to figure out all the details of how you're going to get there in your Airbnb and all of that. You just got to make a decision to go, and then you figure out all of that stuff on the back end. But making the decision is the hardest part, but it's also the most important, because of what? It puts that thing as a reality in the spiritual realm, which takes time, but then will go and transfer itself into the actual physical reality if it is a dominating thought of your mind. Geez, I hope I got some value out of what it is that we talked about today. I really, really do. I'm excited. I need to see. Listen, go post a screenshot of your momentum tickets right now inside of the Auvoria Prime Impact group chat. If you have a screenshot of your momentum tickets, go drop that screenshot in the momentum chat. So in the chat, I'm gonna put mine in there right now too. If you don't have your tickets yet, you want to make sure that you get your tickets. If you're not a part of the Impact Telegram, just reach out to me and we'll make sure that you get a link and that you are actually inside of our group where these conversations are going to be going down. But go ahead and screenshot that email that you got from the Hoover app and post that screenshot inside of the group chat so that way everybody knows that you are going to the trip. I'm going ahead and posting mine in there right now. Boom, your tickets. Got it. Go ahead and post your momentum tickets in there. I'm excited to see everybody smack Rising Star. We have a ton of information coming out at this event. You want to make sure that you're not only there, that you go out of your way to get other people there as well. Again, I promise you, you can get somebody who's not even in the business to get on that call on Saturday, and you're going to have somebody who's fired up about Auvoria Prime. Don't lack. Go out of your way, get your customers on the call. Michael Manuel is literally doing an entire training on how to hit how to hit Rising Star in your first 30 days after the event. So this man is going to be going in. I'm fired up, but you want to make sure that your people are plugged in and available for this call. If you guys have any information, any questions that you have, reach out to me directly. I feel honored and blessed and grateful to be here with you today. I'm about to go ahead and hop back on these charts, but I'm super grateful. I'll make sure this recording comes out ASAP. Get your tickets to the Momentum event. We will see you all there next week.